James Twin for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable true school sports empire. And y'all know the rest, man. Now listen. Right now, I'm in the middle of the run here in Yokohama, but I'm taking a quick break. I'm gonna walk these little like botanical gardens real quickly, give you guys some good aesthetics while I'm talking some boxing. But we're playing quite a lot of catch up here on True School Sports because I've been not really doing a whole lot recently, so consider this the first of my catch up videos. But I wanted to come and give my thoughts about Caleb Plant, Armando Resendiz, Charlo as well. That's just the two fights on that card, the main ones. We'll start with Plant. I've been a big Caleb Plant fan for like almost 10 years. I was one of the first people in YouTube boxing on this community to start talking about Caleb Plant when he was a prospect, and he'll tell you that himself. So I don't say this from a place of like anger or hatred or hostility. I quite like Caleb Plant and love what he's given to boxing, but I gotta call a spade a spade. Caleb Plant got exposed by Armando Resendiz. He did. I feel like, and I've been saying this for a number of years, like with Caleb Plant, I feel like one of the things that's prevented him from getting to the next level and having more success and beating one of these Mexican volume punchers has been his lack of straight right hand. He doesn't have a straight right hand. So Caleb Plant, probably more so than like 90% of championship level fighters, he has to rely upon banking the early rounds, and then he's got to figure out how he has to navigate how he survives the latter part of the round. So that's why he can't beat Benavidez. That's why he didn't beat Canelo, and that's why he ultimately got upset by Armando Resendiz. Plant has a great jab. He has a fantastic jab, but his head stays right there on the line. And so when you get a volume puncher who makes you have to kind of reset your position, Caleb Plant has a hard time dealing with that, and that's been shown in this fight. And not even just that, like his punch selection is really like it's a couple of variations of the jab. So a regular jab, a stab jab, and the occasional up jab. So he's got all the different variations of his jab, but he doesn't really like feel the most comfortable fighting in the pocket, although he did show that he could against McCumbee. Against a Mexican fighter who fight completely different than a guy like McCumbee, he has not shown how to make those kind of adjustments to beat those kind of fighters. So credit to Armando Resendiz. Armando Resendiz, good for him. We've seen this story many times in boxing history. It's a tale of the oldest time. The underestimated Mexican underdog upsets the A side, and I think PBC might have stumbled into potentially having the next Mexican star, because Resendiz can fight. I remember watching him fight Jarrett Hurd. He showed the ability to make adjustments in this fight. He wasn't just like a flat-footed, high guard, limited fighter. No, Resendiz showed the ability to close the gap, to get himself in position to land a straight right hand, and just to consistently push Caleb Plant back over and over. I'm gonna go sit down. To push Caleb Plant back over and over and over again, and that to me was the difference in the fight. So I know there's a lot of talk about, doing the rematch. Supposedly, there's rematch clause. I really feel like the boxing industry and the powers that be should give that young Mexican man the chance to further progress his career. Like, let Resendiz fight Charlo. PBC put both Charlo and Plant in these positions where they had to win these fights that nobody cared about, right? And so my thing is, if you can't win these tune-up fights, then you don't deserve the big fight. You don't deserve the fight that was being lined up for you. So Caleb Plant will have to, in my opinion, he should get in the back of the line. He should regroup. He should work on some things. And Armando Resendiz should be afforded the opportunity to fight Jermall Charlo, because he beat Jarrett Hurd when he wasn't supposed to. He beat Caleb Plant when he wasn't supposed to. Let that man continue to build his career and build a star power, because who knows, you might have the next Esau Cruz in your hands, the next Mexican star. So yeah, I get no joy in saying that about Caleb Plant, but he got exposed, and I just think this is a byproduct of not fighting often. This is a byproduct, in my opinion, of like very lax instructions in the corner. I'm not saying Breadman, I think he did the best he could have did with this version of Caleb Plant, but to me, when you got a Mexican fighter who forces you to fight, I don't think you should be telling your fighter, hey, like, just don't do too much. No, because a guy like that will force you to have to do too much, and you'll get pushed back like Caleb Plant did. So, listen, not everybody wins fights. You know, your setback. You have your setback so you can come back in a major way. So we'll see how Caleb Plant comes back. As far as Charlo, to me, he actually winds up being the more interesting story of the card because Charlo, you know, Charlo wound up beating the brakes off Thomas Lamont. I think he got him out of there in like 3 rounds. He showcased a real educated textbook jab, which he's always had. But really and truthfully, it's hard to really quantify and figure out what exactly is Jermall Charlo at this stage of his career. You know, Charlo has fought 2, for lack of a better term, to say it nicely, we'll say cannon fodder opposition in Jose Benavidez Jr. and Thomas Lamana. Those guys are not true, you know, world level fighters. Credit to him, he did what he was supposed to do, and he looked good enough to where people want to see him again. So, you know, those fights serve their purpose. But now, I'm curious to see what PBC does next, because whether it's against Plant or Resendiz or even someone else, I don't really know what Charlo has left in the tank. I know that if you let him box at his pace and fight from the outside, he's still good enough and competent enough and savvy enough to do his thing from out there. You know, nobody's taken his O yet. And is he going to be the guy that we thought he could be like 10 years ago after he beat Julian Williams? No. But I still think there could be a really good fight in there. So maybe a fight that PBC can go revisit. Maybe they can go dig up Demetrius Andre, wherever he's at, and see how they do against each other, because neither one of them really fights too often. Andre hasn't fought since Benavidez, so that'd be a good matchup at this stage of both their careers. But if not that, then I think Resendiz makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's crazy how, you know, the story going into the fight was Caleb Plant, but the story coming out of the fight is really, along with Resendiz, winds up being Charlo for his magnificent performance against Lamana. So, do I want to see Plant versus Charlo? No. Was it a fight I really ever cared about at any point? Not really. And I even told Caleb Plant that one time when he asked me about which fights I wanted to see. I just feel like Charlo and Plant, it's not meant to be. They both had tune-up fights. They both had, you know, on paper, they both had cupcake opponents, and they both lost. So why should they fight each other? You know, let the guys that won settle the score, and we can go from there. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of, you know, Caleb Plant, Resendiz, Charlo? These are just my thoughts. I know I missed quite a lot of boxing, so if there's anything that I missed that you guys didn't see me talk about in a full-length video, comment down below and I'll get to it. And yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and we got a monster in town. For more great boxing content from America to Japan and everywhere else in between, make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned, and keep it locked.